Hi, I'm Josh with Woodland Mills, and this is our full-length product video for the WC68 PTO-driven wood chipper. In front of me here I have the crate that the wood chipper is shipped in. The crate dimensions are 44 inches wide, 34 inches deep, and 44 inches high. It's an iron crate with an iron skid built underneath. So there's 4 bolts, one in each corner. The top of the iron crate comes off, and then the chipper's resting on an iron skid below. The total weight in the crate is 800 pounds, the chipper being 710 pounds of that. With the crate top off, you're going to be able to back your tractor up and lift that chipper off of the crate and get started with the assembly. On top of the crate here, I have 2 common accessories. We have a spare parts kit, and we have just a knife kit, a replacement knife kit. These are available, and if you purchase them with the chipper, freight will be included with the overall freight of the chipper. Within the freight charge, we include tailgate curbside delivery. So it's going to get lowered to the ground on a tailgate at the curbside for you. Now I want to go over, we've got a fully assembled chipper. We've designed this chipper for a horsepower range in this PTO horsepower of 20 to 50 horsepower. At the 710 pounds, you got to make sure that if you're in the lower horsepower range, your tractor's able to pick it up and move it around your property. So you want to check the 3-point hitch capacity of the tractor you're going to use it on, and check the horsepower to make sure this is a good fit. From an assembly standpoint, the discharge chute comes separate from the chipper, and it takes 4 bolts to attach it. Those bolts are going to be found in the manual tube, with the other hardware required to bolt the INFEED panels together. So the 4 INFEED panels, as well as the INFEED bar and the gray rim here, all have to be assembled. And we peg assembly from crate right till you're ready to use it between an hour and 2 hours. As I mentioned, you can see it sitting on the iron crate here. You're going to be able to back your tractor up, attach it to the 3-point hitch, lift it up off that crate, and get the crate out from underneath it and get it back on the ground. Once you've got the chipper assembled, it's going to take 20 liters or 5 gallon of hydraulic fluid. And the reservoir tank is underneath, and you'll see it at the back. Now I want to look through how to get this thing connected to your tractor. We've got the category 1 3-point hitch, which is quick attach compatible. So if you have quick attach in your tractor, you're going to be able to back right up and hook on. We include the PTO shaft in the purchase of the chipper, and this PTO shaft is shear pin protected to protect the chipper and your tractor. It's got our safety lines to keep the outer sheath from rotating. It's trimmable in length, and we cover in detail how to trim it to suit your tractor within the manual in the assembly process. Your tractor is designed to spin this PTO shaft at 540 RPMs and carry that 540 RPMs right through to the main shaft. This is a 2-inch main shaft which has been reduced to a 6-spline PTO connection. You'll see we also have our drive pulley on here that runs down and drives a hydraulic pump, also at 540 RPMs. So it's a 1-to-1. We use a spring-loaded belt tensioner, and this is just for ease of use and maintenance. It keeps proper tension to drive the INFEED system and the pump that does the work. We include the pins and the latch pins for the category 1. And we also have loops for the safety chains built in. So the PTO safety chains can get thread through here, so you got somewhere to connect that sheath. You'll see we use a clamshell design to house the flywheel and the discharge paddle. And as I open this up, it'll give you a view of the 2-inch main shaft that rides on the 4-bolt flange bearings. You'll see the grease fittings for maintenance on both sides. You're going to see the chip paddles at the back and the cups created to keep the chips packed and discharge them. I'll rotate this slowly and show you the 4 blades. So I'll show you the edge, the reversible. So you've got a sharp edge on both sides and they've been machine pocketed with relief into the flywheel. We use a 3/4 inch thick plate at 24 inches in diameter. The blades are just over 8.5 inches long, and that allows us to do our full sweep of the 6-inch material and the 6x8 INFEED opening. This flywheel spins at the 540 RPMs, and you'll see in the top of the clamshell where the discharge chute is, everything's directed up the discharge chute and out of the chipper. As we come around this side, again, we've got the manual tube. It's going to have your hardware as well as all the directions you need about setting up the chipper, trimming the PTO shaft, setting the blade tolerances and the anvil tolerances. And there's that hardware pack for the assembly of the INFEED chute and the discharge. At the bottom, you're going to see our reservoir tank. So the INFEED system is a hydraulic, an independent hydraulic. It's got its own pump. It's all turned by the PTO shaft that's already turning. Creates pressure with the pump. The pressure comes up to our control valve. The control valve, we've got the actuator here at the back, and that allows us to do forward, neutral, reverse. So in forward, we're going to be drawing the material or pushing the material in against the flywheel. In neutral, it's just in neutral, and then in reverse, it's going to bring that material back out of the chipper. Out of the control valve, we have a speed controller, and that's going to control the INFEED speed if we need to adjust it to suit our tractor's horsepower and the size of material we're trying to feed. This will let us slow down the INFEED. The INFEED roller, which you can just see through here, is an 8.25 inch diameter chisel knife roller, and you'll see the springs that apply the pressure down. So as the material comes in, this whole thing rotates up against the tension of the springs, and these springs keep the pressure on the material so that INFEED roller grabs and pulls that material into the chipper. As we come around the back here, you're going to see the INFEED chute and the control bar assembly. So the red bar here is the control bar assembly. And this is what allows us to do the forward, is in the out position, the neutral and reversing of the INFEED material. It's got two lock positions. So in one position, it's attached to the control rod. In the second position, it's attached to the INFEED chute itself. And this allows us to rotate it up for storage and for transport. You'll see we have a rubber sheet in here to protect all the finishes when you've got it in the storage or the transport position. I can also show you the latches, which we use to latch it at the bottom to keep it in the ready for use position. So when you're using the chipper, this is going to be latched down, and the control bar is going to get attached to the control arm of the valve. We latch these two. I'm going to move the control arm, and this is going to allow us to actuate reverse, neutral, forwards. You're going to see the gray bar that we've attached to the back of the INFEED chute, and what this does is it softens the edge of the INFEED chute and allows material to be dragged up without getting hung up on the sharp edge of the material. That goes all the way around the perimeter of the INFEED chute. And I'll give you the dimensions. The size of the INFEED at 25 by 26 is substantially larger than the 6x8 INFEED opening down at the bottom. But what that allows is all the branches get bent in, and all the leaves get bent in, and it funnels them all so that they will fit down through the INFEED opening. As we come around to the back side, You can see the mounting bearing for the INFEED roller and the grease fitting to service it. From this angle we can also see the anvil or the bed plate. We've got the 3 bolts that tighten up to hold it in place. And then you've got this knob here. So with the bolts loose, you can use this to move it in and out to set the clearance off the blade edge. So in the manual you'll see the blade edge to anvil clearance spec, and you can look down the top here and measure that, and you can set this off the blades from here using this handle. While I'm here, I'll show the reservoir tank for the hydraulic. So this is the fill location. We've got our first filter here. So as you're filling it, we're going to filter out any debris that was in the oil. And then within the tank, we have a secondary filter on the pickup line. I want to flip up the INFEED chute again and just show you the chisel knives on the roller and go over the INFEED dimensions. So you'll see we have the red grab bar as a handle now. We have a secondary handle to help you lower it down into place. We've got the clear sheets in here, and they stop any debris from tumbling back. They keep any dust and small stuff heading directly into the chipper. At 8 1/4 inches in diameter, we've got chisel knives on here. They bite into the material and they pull that in. And this is the roller you're going to see spinning that we can control the speed of with the speed control. And we can also forward, neutral, and reverse this roller. The width of this is 8 inches. And this roller will move up to allow 6 inches to pass below it. So it's 6 by 8. So that'll allow 6-inch round material or smaller material, but with a Y section in the branches to flip sideways and get drawn in through the chipper. And you'll see that in the demonstration. I want to close the clamshell now, and I'll show the discharge chute and the way it rotates. And the way we have adjustability in the deflector. So the reason to rotate this is to place your chips. So you've got your tractor in front, maybe you want your chips down the back on a trail, or you're trying to make a pile off to the side. So along the front here, we have a mechanism that allows you to lock it in the unlocked position here. And then you can rotate 360 degrees. There's no stop. You can go all the way around. And then it'll find the next indexing hole. We also have a deflector built in at the top. So this is going to let you select where those chips fall. So with the deflector all the way up, the chips are going to go the furthest away. As you bring this down, you're going to start bringing those chips and making a pile closer to the chipper. So this helps you direct the material as it exits. So now that we've done the walk around, I want to bring in my tractor, we'll hook it up. I want to show you how the controls are going to operate and how to use them. And we're going to put this chipper to work. So I'm down in the cedar bush. I've got a pile of cedar here, and most of it's dead. We use this for cedar chips in the garden. I'm going to show you how the chipper will go through this. Let me just get the chipper set up. We'll put the discharge chute, get those chips on the trail, get them as far as we can. I'm going to get the tractor spooled up to 540 RPMs. You can see now that we've taken this pile of eastern white cedar, mostly dead and dry, and we've chipped it into a nice pile of wood chips here on the trail. Now I want to go and show you some green material, how it feeds the green material with the branches and the leaves, and we'll take you to the next spot. So you see the material we just put through. That was 3 to 5 inch cherry trees. You can see a little bit of green ash went through there. The horsepower on this tractor is about 32 at the PTO, so you'll see that it's more than capable at 32 PTO horsepower of doing that material. I hope you've enjoyed the whole video. This has been Josh with Woodland Mills with the WC68 Woodchipper.